Good afternoon and welcome back to the Return Homestead. It is a rainy afternoon here in southeastern Kentucky. It's hard to imagine getting a lot of work done in the garden today, so we're down at the guest house taking a look at our reconstruction. We're going to remodel this entire house from one end to the other. Original construction 2001. Not really sure what year it was moved onto this property. It's got a solid metal roof on top of it that was added after it was moved in. And the canopy over the porch is also metal. Now, one area of concern is this opening or gap between the porch roof and the house roof. Our prevailing winds are from this direction, which means we get water blowing in every time it rains. Fortunately, today it's just a light rain. If you're thinking about getting involved in a remodel, you need to understand that this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's going to take a significant amount of time. This is not a weekend project. Make sure you are committed to go all the way to the end to finish the project. One other important part of getting a remodel like this done, especially on a homestead, is to make sure you have your spouse with you. It's going to take both of you to get this work done. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. Make sure you're both on the same page before you get involved in a major construction project. There are a lot of properties on the market right now where the land is absolutely perfect, but the house is not. Sometimes these houses were constructed 80 or 100 years ago and they're having some problems now. Don't let that frighten you. You can usually get a great deal on a house that's in a little bit of a state of disrepair. If you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do a little work, you can get a great deal. You might be looking at a property right now that has an older mobile home or an older house on it, and you're a little concerned that there's some construction problems that you don't want to deal with. Let me tell you, it's not easy, but it can be done. You don't have to be a professional contractor in order to correct these problems. You will have to do your homework. There's a lot of research that goes into understanding construction methods, but once you get the basics down, most problems present themselves as well as the solutions. So follow us on this reconstruction of this 2001 mobile home. We do plan to turn this not into a guest house, but our main house. So we'll be moving down here once the remodel is complete. Now, this is not our first remodel. The first house we took on was the train depot from the Ludwig copper mine. Original construction about 1910, came off the mine in the late 40s and was the electric company in downtown Urrington, Nevada until 1972 when it was sold at auction for $1 and moved out onto the property where we bought it. We took that house all the way down to the studs and built it back into something beautiful. We know we can turn this into an awesome living space. Come along with us for the journey. So we have the vanity in the guest bathroom that can come out.
Yes.
If we've got a shut-off valve under there for the water.
I believe so.
And we've got the laundry room that we can take the cabinets out of.
Right. So I've got everything emptied. Are we leaving this then?
The closet?
Yeah.
No, that's going to come out.
Okay. This needs to be torn down. This is empty completely and unplugged.
So there's a couple of projects. The freezer has to be moved out to the freezer room that we built on Marty's studio. And we've got to take down the light table we used to start the plants.
This floor. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that floor's got to be cut up and replaced.
So this cabinet needs to come down.
So that little thing will probably pop right off of the wall.
That has a shut-off valve.
Shut-off valve on the vanity so we can rip this out.
Yeah. And then this mirror needs to come off.
Get rid of the mirror.
Once we do that, then we're going to have to pull some subfloor and see what's going on underneath.
We had hoped when we talked about remodeling this house that we wouldn't have to do anything at all to this bathroom. It was at least functional. But we did discover the leak around the toilet. Now this subfloor is extremely squishy. It's gotten wet, it's stayed wet for a significant amount of time, so this OSB has to come up. We'll replace it with some new subfloor. We're gonna go ahead and pull out the vanity while we're at it, and we'll either rebuild or buy a new vanity. I suspect we'll build our own.
It's taken down.
And then we've got the cabinets in the laundry room. We can get those down off of the wall as well. Not going to address the leak today. Eventually we'll get around to the rebuild. And when we do that, we'll make sure we know where that leak came from and how to make sure it doesn't happen again.
There's no new water currently.
Okay. So especially on a mobile home, this construction is going to be very lightweight. This is all 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch material. There's only a few screws that are going to be holding it to the studs in the wall, so it should be relatively easy to find those screws, pull them out, and the cabinet should come right down.
We found this to be pretty common already in this reconstruction as we're trying to tear things apart. The screws are either not attached to anything other than drywall or they're completely broken off. Let's try another screw. Wow, that's a whole lot more screw than what's necessary to hold those cabinets up.
If you've ever seen those longer bits and wondered what they were for, that's exactly what they're for.
No, that one's broken off.
Stripped out. This is going to be fun.
No. Don't let it fall on me.
Replacing that wall because I'm about to rip those screws out of there. Don't worry, any damage we do, the drywallers will fix. The damage the drywallers can't fix, the painters will cover. There we go. That wall now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Went right through it, huh?
It's the ceiling I don't want to do too much damage to. rip that open. All that good insulation will come out.
It's just a base. But right through that wall.
Success! So the issue was these last two screws up here in the corner. Could not get the bit on them. So yes, we did some damage to the wall. Not our first fix.
It needed fixed anyway.
And as you can see, the wall is pretty chewed up. So Marty's right, we would have had to have replaced this wall one way or another. Now we've got a clean spot for us to rebuild on, and we'll put in a new set of shelves.
Remove this wall, remove this door, and then make a access farmhouse looking door for
the hot water heater.
Mm-hmm.
So the hot water heater is on the back wall right next to the electrical, and it's sort of squeezed into this tight little hallway. So we're going to try to remove this additional closet that was built around the electrical panel and kind of dress up the hot water heater. I'm not sure I want to move it right now because that would mean relocating all of the primary plumbing for the hot water.
This will be easy to take out because this door was never set.
Oh, wow.
So it should be fairly easy to come out. So
That ought to come out easy enough.
Yep. We get rid of that.
I'm not sure what kind of panel that is.
It looks like masonite.
It's more like a cardboard than it is any kind of useful paneling. So Marty's been pretty busy out here in the guest house. You can see the kitchen is starting to come apart already. We still have the sink in. Of course, that means dealing with the plumbing is a little more complicated. But she's already pulled all of the cabinetry around the stove. We've gotten the stove moved out.
We just got to remove the vent.
Just got to get this vent hood out. Yeah.
There's nothing new here, so I'm sure that was the refrigerator.
Yeah, there was a leak here at one point. It looks like it wasn't actually behind the stove. It was more than likely either coming from the sink or it could have been coming from the water line to the refrigerator. It had an ice maker in it.
So all this stuff can be moved out.
We've already removed most of this wall. There used to be an opening here and then the wall continued out almost to the front door. We've pulled that out already. This is approximately the location where the refrigerator will go when we're all done. And then we'll build an L-shaped counter here in the corner, replacing that wall.
And put a working pantry.
And then we'll build a working pantry on the other side of the refrigerator that'll allow Marty to be able to cook without having to run back and forth to the big pantry. We were set up at one point to receive guests in this kitchen. They weren't able to make it, and we started tearing things apart. Now it's a really big mess. We've been using the house also as a place to get all of our plant starts going for the year, and Marty has continued with the destruction of the kitchen. We've got most of the cabinetry taken out. We do still have to deal with the plumbing underneath the sink. We're going to be replacing all of this with one long countertop, building a small pantry here into this corner. We'll move the dishwasher over so that it's directly next to the sink. And then we'll have to replace the stove and build an L-shaped counter on this end of the kitchen. The front door may or may not be the original door from this mobile. So this was manufactured in 2001. It's had quite a bit of use. and chances are this has been modified at some point. We can tell from the door frame that this has all been replaced. Obviously someone broke the door frame at some point trying to get the door open. So we'll reframe this entire doorway and probably put in a standard door when we go to rebuild it.
This light fixture is going, it's off center of the front door. It'll be relocated right here in the center.
So always give consideration to that when you're figuring out where you're going to put your light fixtures. Try to make sure they're centered up on the areas of importance. This one may have been placed where it was so that it would provide some light into the living space around the wall that was just to my right. But that means it's off center from the front door. Just looks awkward. So here in the master bedroom, we're not going to make a lot of modifications, but we do want to address this closet. It's got 2 doors on it, which is fine. There's plenty of storage space in the closet, but it's just not well constructed. Everything's pretty flimsy. This is just the 1x material with 5/8 inch drywall covered in vinyl. There's no insulation inside of the walls, so we'll probably be pulling this down and rebuilding this wall completely. Closet doors are kind of narrow, difficult to paint, so we're going to be removing those and replacing them with some other doors. One other option that we have is to use this space across from the main entrance to the bedroom to build out a full walk-in closet. Now you'll notice this little kick out. This comes from the bathroom. On the other side of this wall is the shower. So if we pull the shower out, we'll free up all that space for closet. So that's one of the items we're looking at. Of course, we'd have to deal with the plumbing that's in this wall, but that should allow us to pick up some additional storage space.
We're going to kick this wall backwards.
I'm going to move this wall next to the toilet back toward me a little bit, giving us some more room in there. This vanity is absolutely humongous. We do not need this much counter space in the bathroom, so we'll be replacing this. We haven't decided yet if we're going to build out the vanity ourselves or if we're just going to buy one at Costco or Lowe's. We've got a couple of vanities that we really like. And then this tub. Man, this thing is a septic killer. That is a lot of water to run down your septic system every time you take a bath. So we're going to pull the tub out completely, and this will become a walk-in shower. It's going to be interesting dealing with the angled wall. I don't know if you can see that well on the video, but the ceiling follows the roof line, so it's slightly angled. We'll make use of the plumbing where it is by building up a wall to hold the shower head right in this location. On a mobile home, if you look inside of the closet on the master bedroom, you'll find one of these. This is just the document that documents the manufacturing of the home, 2001. So here in the living room, we have a fireplace currently. The fireplace is not usable. There is no chimney attached to this. Not really sure who put the wood in there or the pile of ashes, but we're going to have to put a chimney on this if we want to use it. And actually, we want to replace the fireplace with a wood stove. Now, we're still debating whether or not we're going to leave this angled wall that the fireplace is currently in, or if we're going to remove it entirely and just rebuild that entire corner of the room. But we'll be piping in a new chimney for this and putting in a wood stove. The flooring here in the living room is just laminate flooring. It's not in bad shape. So we're going to be pulling this up and repurposing it. It'll either get used in the guest bedroom or we'll use it in Marty's art studio. In a previous video, we did talk about the water that's running down underneath these stairs behind the guest house. The problem with the water is it was originally running to the other side of the stairs where it was backing up against the house. You can already see how much sediment has been deposited on the back wall of the house. So we're gonna have to pull all of this skirting, move the soil back off of the house,
The skirting also needs to have some ventilation in it. There's no way to ventilate any moisture that gets under there, so we'll be adding some ventilation to that. And I'll also be putting in probably a French drain here along the back of the house to help get the water moving around the corner of the house and down the hill onto the property. The reason for the project is the view from the front porch. Be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with us as we go through the remodel.
Nice to clear this out so we can see the walkways.
Yeah, I can just barely make out the cliffs on the other side of the highway. No, wait, 15, 20 trees that need to come down. Obviously not this week. Lots of firewood over the next 2 years. Oh, hemlock. I don't know if we're going to save that maple tree or not. It's right on that rock face.